Exceptions. Arusa b'shemeres yovin. Years ago, when you go today to a wedding, you're invited to a wedding for 770. So, under the chuppah, there's really two parts. There's the first part where the chassan gives the kal the ring and says it kadeshusly. Then you read the ksubah, and then you do the second 7 brachos. What's going on over there? So the first part where he gives the ring, that's called edison. To be mafsik between edison and the next part, we read the ksubah. And the next part is called nisuyin. Years ago, the seder was that you had edison, and then if it was a basula, so you gave her a year's time to prepare herself for the wedding, and then later you made the nisuyin. So that's what we're talking about here. Arusa, we're talking about one that is only partially married. A certain dinam, what applies, how it applies. So this mission says that Arusa, if a woman is an Arusa, or she's a Shemeres Yavin, that means that her husband passed away and she's waiting for the brother to be Miyabimha, or Chalitza. So Loi Shai says, V'loi Neitlus Ksuba. In other words, the din is that when a woman is suspected, and so you give her to drink the mayim, the special water. In this case over here is loy shaises, v'loy noitus ksuba, and she doesn't get any ksuba. Shenema, the pasuk says, asher tishte isha tachas isha, that a woman will turn away under her husband. Prat la'arusa shemeres yavin, they're not considered under the husband. Now the Mishnah says another din. A monol kain gadol, which is not permissible, but he got married to her. Or grusha v'chalutza kain hedjit, again, it's not permissible, but he got married to her. Mamzeres unesina Yisrael. There are women that a nasan is not allowed to marry. A nasan are a tribe that in the days of Yeshua, he deceived them, he fooled them a little bit, and they were from the Gevanim. There was a question that Yeshua was told that to kill all the Canaanim that live in Eretz Yisrael, and they fooled him, and he didn't kill them. But then later it turned out that they weren't honest people. So David was geyser that you shouldn't marry them. That's called a nosen. So he says, Mamzer, a mamzer state in the Torah, Layav mamzer b'kal Hashem. Mamzer means either a man or a lady. Layav b'kal Hashem. So he says, Mamzeres unesina Yisrael, or Bas Yisrael, Mamzer, Nosen. Either one is not allowed to get married to a regular Jew. They can marry a ger, because Sheikh or Yavim Mamzer b'kal Hashem, and Gadim are not considered a call. Loi Shai says, they also, they're Saivi also, so why go through the whole process?
If a mamzer marries a ger, mamzer marries a ger,
yeah.
Children considered kosher.
So it comes b'kal Hashem.
It's children.
Right, yeah. The ilu Loi Shai says, and here are other cases where people were married apidin. There was no problem with the marriage, but they don't drink and they don't get the ksuba. If the woman admits that she committed she didn't want to admit, but during the process, Adis came and said witness against her. Or a woman that refuses to drink, so we say if she refuses to drink, it's like she admits. Now the Mishnah says, so these are, they don't drink and they don't get the ksuba. Now goes another thing. If the husband had a change of mind, he said, I don't want to put my wife through it. Or b'shas they were going from the bezin in their city to Yerushalayim, the husband had a relationship with the wife. So also that disqualifies that the process is not going to work. So in such a case, he's at fault now over here. So therefore, noitlus ksuba v'loy shoises. V is meisel ba'aleim. If the husband died, during the process the husband died, Beshama says, noitlus ksuboso v'loy shoises. Because we assume that nothing was wrong. And so she gets a ksuba. There's a dispute over here between the Yorshim, her Yorshim, and the Yorshim of the husband. They of course don't want to pay the ksuba, but they have no choice. We say you have to pay. Well, the Gemara will explain it. Well, Basila says no. Oy shoises, oy goy not ksuba. Either you drink or you get the ksuba, but you can't have the benefit of the ksuba without drinking, because the husband is the mulsuk over here, or the yoshim of the husband are the mulsukim in the money, and you want to be mitzvah from him. The din is that if somebody dies, or if someone divorces his wife, and there was a child that was less than 2 years old, she's not supposed to get married. That's called a menekes, a nursing mother. The din is not dafke, even if she stopped nursing. But for 2 years, today there's certain tatum that they apply to get married earlier, but we're not going to go into that. That's not the sugi over here for that. And miuberes chavera means if the woman that got divorced was pregnant, so you have to wait till she gives birth, and also till whatever the child is, to wait 2 years. So in such a case, the din is that he's not supposed to marry her. So it's sort of like the marriages that are improper. So he says over here, "Miuberes chavera umenekas chavera lo shoises v'oinotus ksuba." Divrei Yehuda. That's what Divrei Meir said that. But Chama says this is nothing wrong with this marriage. Yochahu lafrisha ulachzira lachazman. If he got married to her, yeah, and she has a child of a year, so he has to divorce her. But the marriage, it's shaykh. The whole marriage is a thing that's fitting, because after the year he could remarry her. Moshe, in the previous cases, the Kohen Gadol with Amona, he never could remarry her. Islandess Uzakena, if she's an islandess that she can't give birth, or she's too old, she passed. V'she'ena ruya leget. Now, what is Zakena? What is the third? Either person is an islandess or Zakena. What's Eina ruya leget? Okay, the Gemara will explain that. There's nothing wrong with that marriage. There's nothing wrong. Why? He says because the husband could remain married to her. There's no issue in the marriage. There's a mitzvah of pru. For that, he can marry another woman. That's before Chaim de Beinu Gershom. Usha kol anashim, all other wives, what this wants to be marbe, we'll see in the Gemara. Oy shoises, oy goy not ksuba. They have the choice. Now he says, Eishes kayin, shoise, umbeteres rabayla. A wife of a kayin could have a din of a sotah, and if everything comes out good, so she's mutar l'bayla. Eishes soris, if the husband is sterile, he can't produce that there should be children here. There's also is shaisa. Also, there's a din by her that the husband could be mekana, and if she's under suspicion, she has to drink. Al yedei kol harayos mekanan. In other words, a man can say to his wife, I don't want you to seclude yourself with your father. She's not allowed to marry the father Savi. Fundessing, even though it will be forbidden for her to have relation with her father, but it goes into the category of a kino, of chutz min hakoten, except if the husband says, if the person is a cotton, I don't want you to go cruising with this 5-year-old boy, or v'she'ena ish. What she'ena ish means, the Gemara will explain. Now the Mishnah says another thing. Ve'elu, and here we have a case shebezdin mekanan law. Normally, it's the husband that has to say to her. But what if the husband is not capable, as we'll soon see in the Mishnah? So then, and there's a suspicion that this woman is not behaving properly. So the bezdin could be mekanaha. For example, mishan is charesh baila. If the husband is deaf and dumb, he can't talk. Oy nishtata. Or he became a shaita. He's insane. He's in an institution. Or he's arrested, so he doesn't really know what's going on with his wife. Now, so what is the inyan of the bezdin getting involved over here? This was not said that if they give her a kinu that she'll have to drink. The only one that can bring the behavior is this thing. That if something came up, so she will lose her ksuba. Rabbi Yossi Ayman, it helps this kina that they gave now while the husband was not here, that later on when the husband comes out and the husband has a suspicion on her, he can get her to drink on the basis, he doesn't have to start a new process, but on the basis of the kina that the bezdin made. Okay. Now we'll see the Gemara. The Mishnah said, as Arusa Shemer Yovan loy shoisis loy noitus ksubasa. So Gemara says, Mishnah hu de loy shasya. All the Mishnah is telling you that she doesn't have to drink. You know, you can't apply the process to her. But he could be mekanaha to warn her, even though she's not totally his wife. Minon and how do we know that? The Tana Rabbanon daber b'nei Yisrael via Malta v'rabbis arusa v'shemeres yavim l'kinu. That is applies kinu by arusa shemeres yavim. What will accomplish, we'll soon see. That the Marum must see some money, according to who is our Mishnah, who is it that holds that these two, because we'll soon see in the Gemara that there's a machlokes. One holds that these two, it doesn't apply, and one holds that by one it does apply. So the Gemara must see some money, according to who is our Mishnah. It goes according to Yabyanis. The Sanya we learn, Shaitan Posek Takas Ishaych, while under your husband, Prat La Arusa, that excludes an Arusa. Arusa is not considered under the husband. Yochel Shani might say Av Shemeres Yoven. I would think that we could also exclude a Shemeres Yoven. Talmud Leime Ishish. Ishish means two types of men. A man that's fully married, and Ishish is the first husband, and the Yoven could do it. Different Rabbi Yasher. So the Mishnah can't be according to Rabbi Yasher, because the Mishnah says Shemeres Yoven and Arusa. Rabbi Yossi says as follows: Takas Ishaych is prat l'shemeres yoven. That excludes the shemeres yoven. Oitzi shemeres yoven or oitzi es arusa. I could think that I should also exclude a shemeres yoven, and that I only exclude a shemeres yoven, but not an arusa. That's what I may think. She says, Talmud Reiman, Asher Tishta Isha Taras Isha Prat Larusa. Okay. Now, according to that the Gemara say, according to the B'yainason, the first pasuk is tells you prat shemeres yavim, right? Then you have a suffix about an arusa. Arusa maybe is different, right? Why is that? So Gemara says that Mar Rabbi Yonasan Alim Alei Arusa. He thinks he's stronger about Arusa. That Arusa you may think that she should have to drink. Why would you think that Arusa have to drink? Because the kedusha the day, because it's this man's he was Makadasha. He's recycling al yodai. If during the time when she's in Arusa, if she was Mazana, kum teskila, because he was Makadasha. So therefore I would think that Arusa is like any other woman. So that's why I need a special agreement. And Ma Rabbi Yeshua Alimale Shemeres Yavin. He holds that Shemeres Yavin should be potter. I'm sorry, Shemeres you could be Mechayev. Why could you be Mechayev with Shemeres Yavin? Normally you have to do Mesir, you have to have a chuppah, and over here all you have to do is bia and fatik. In fact, the Gemara, Rabbi Yonasan, according to Rabbi Yonasan, hi ish my avudle. From ish we learned that there could be two men that could do it. There could be artists and there could be a shemeres yavan. So my avudle. So come on, good boy. L'Rabbi is eishes cheres ve'eishes shaita ve'eishes shimun. Shimun means someone that's it's a tumult like. He's also not mentally in order. That Reb Yeshua high tachas ishech my obodlay. What does Reb Yeshua do with the lima from tachas ishech? That's marbe. That's mamaya that it can't be the process item. So the Gemara he needs a pasuk hakish ish leishu veishu leish. That in the Torah, ish and ish have the same din. Now that's certain halachas which the Gemara will explain later. So we're not going into that now. So the Gemara, Ella Taima. So the whole reason why we say an arusa can drink is hani kroi, is these psukim that we just asked before. Of Yonis and Darshan, of Yashia Darshan. They have a pasuk. Aber halav hachi. What would be if we wouldn't have the pasuk? Haba meaning you would think arusa shasa, that arusa could drink. Frek the Gemara, v'ha ki asa Rab Acha Bachanina midaraima. When Rab Acha Bachanina came back from the south, also he came. V'aisi masnita bidei, and he brought with him a baraisa. What was the baraisa? Shaitan pasuk. The pasuk said, "V'at kisot es tuma mibala deishach," except your husband. So the Gemara said, "Mibala deishach." That means mishakadma shrivas baal lubayil. That the husband, that before this incident happened, there was a relationship between the husband and the wife. In a case where there was no relationship ever with the husband, just a boil, then the din of sotah doesn't apply. If that's the case, in this case over here, when you're talking about an arusa or a shemeres yavan, an arusa is not with bia. Bia is later when they make the nesuyim. A shemeres yavan means that he wasn't miyabin her yet. So if she had a relationship with a person that you're suspecting of, so kumta is that the shchiva's boil was before shchiva's baal. So the din of arusa. So why do we need these psukim over here? And for the Gemara, Amar Rami Bachama, Mashkachasra, there's a possibility Kigain Shabo Olea Oris Bebeis, that the artist had relation with her. he wasn't allowed to taka, but Lepoil, he had relation with her. Now that he had relation with her, so you would clear the Shiur, could he warn her not to go with somebody? Because it's called Mashchivas Baal Lepoil. So practically Gemara, the same kasha that I asked you on Arusa, the same kasha also applies to Shemeres Yavim. It's also called Mashchivas Baal Lebal. So the Kavasa, Gabi Shemeres Yavim, you're going to tell me the same thing by Shemeres Yavim, Kigain Shabbat Aleh Yavim, Bebeis Chamiyah, that the Yavim had relationship with her in her father's house, in his father-in-law's house. Practically Gemara, Har Shemeres Yavim Karasai. This you call she a Shemeres Yavim? Ishtem Al Yisei, she's his wife.
Once he has the...
Yeah, is he automatically his wife? The Amar Rav said, Kana L'Kol, that he's kinda, that she becomes his wife once they have a relationship. The Gemara, the Mishnah that has to exclude and based on such a type of a scenario goes Kishmul, goes according to Shmuel. The Amar Lekona El Dvarim Amurim B'Pasha. Only began to Yerusha, other thing, but not that she's fully his wife. So, but still, it was Kot Meshchivas Baal Lebayil.
How does she become fully his wife?
Takes her in.
Huh?
Why does a Yavim do it to become fully his wife?
Huh?
What does a Yavim have to do that to become fully his wife?
If he was boiling her once before now, the question is, what will he do now different that makes it more, he needs to sign the paperwork.
It's a question which a lot of people are married around 50, 70 years. They also have the same question.
Look, the Gemara, Ihachev is
What does the guy have to do that she be completely his wife?
if you're saying that the Mechaikas of Rabbi Yonasan and Rabbi Yashia is on a case where he was boiled, and the question is, does she become a Yivama with that, right? That's as I come dice. In fact, the Gemara, if so, lamer should we say that Rav, the Omer Rabbi Yashia, Rav that holds that he's kaina, will hold like Rabbi Yashia, that you could warn a Shemeres Yavim, and Shmuel the Omer Rabbi Yonasan, and Shmuel will hold like Rabbi Yonasan that you can't warn because he's not kind of him. So it's not called Meshchivas, it's called Meshchivas Boyel Gubal. Amalach Rav will tell you no. I know the Amri, I feel it with Rabbi Yonasan. I could even hold like Rabbi Yonasan. And how do I explain it? Midi is a crow, since we need a pasuk. G'miyutei, we need a special pasuk. L'chayra, Michal, so you see from him, the Ishtem, you see, that's considered his wife. That goes according to my sheet that I said, that kind of hakol. Shmuel says, I know the Omer, I feel Rabbi Yasha. I can even hold like Rabbi Yasha, who says that that's not kinda, and still I could say that Shemeres Yavim you could warn her, and Midi is a crow ribuye, since you need a special pasuk to be mabed mikral the Rav Ishtay. That's like I said, his wife. Okay, that finishes this piece of Gemara, the Mishnah. Now the Gemara goes into a few interesting questions. There was a question, Iveres Aldas. Iveres Aldas means a woman that is not, doesn't dress herself modestly or not cover her hair. This type of thing is called Iveres Aldas. So the Gemara, Iveres Aldas, Tzricha Asrog Afsida Ksuba so or Ein Tzricha. Does she need a warning that the husband should warn her, and she's not listening in order for her to lose her ksuba, or not? Me, I mean, should we say, Kivan de Veres Aldas like boy Hasra, her behavior shows that she doesn't care. So maybe you don't have to warn her, because what's the purpose of warning her? Or Dilma, the boy Hasra, she should need Hasra, because the E Hoder Bay to Hoder Bay, because if she gets Hasra, maybe she'll change, and it wouldn't be a question of divorcing her and about giving the ksuba. That the Matashma, we write in the Mishnah, Arusa v'shemeres yavan, and Arusa shemeres yavan goy choices, goy night is ksuba. Kommt es von dem, Mishta hi de shasya, hoki noy mekanilo, lamai. What's the purpose of warning her? Lav sida ksubasa. Is it not that she should be able to lose the ksuba? So you see that for losing the ksuba, you have to have a warning. Abai said no. La'isa olav. In order that he shouldn't have to be miyabim her. In order that he can get out of the yibim, there should be osatim, so that's why he has to warn her. Now, Papa, that the reason for the warning is lashkaisa kishehinasua, that when she gets married, then and she was nistra after the marriage, so he could be mitzaref the kinu that he made before to her actions of after the marriage. Kedesanya, we learned, ein mekanan larusa lashkaisa kisheharusa. That you can. Ava mekanan larusa lashkaisa kishehinasua. So we still have the question: do you need a warning for Iveres Aldas? So tomorrow, Amar Rabbi Rabbi said Tashma. We write in the Mishnah, Amonu Kain Gadol, Grusha Rachutzu Kain Hedjed, Mamzeres Nasina, Yisrael, and Bas Yisrael, Mamzov Nasim, Leishoises, Vleidetik Subas. So Gemara says the same question. Mishnah Hu de Leishasya, Hakinuye Mekanala. She doesn't drink, but by says that kinu he could do. It doesn't say that he can't be mekana. Ulamai, what does he want to be mekana? What's the purpose? If you say that to ask her that he's not allowed to be with her, it's for the whole time they were asa. So you have to say in order to be master the ksuba. So you have a raya that you have to warn in order to be mafsed the ksuba. Amar Rabbi Yehuda midiskarta loy nein loisa leboil kebal. The din is that a sotah that was found to be a sotah, so he has to divorce her, but she'll go get married with the guy that she was hidden with, right? So the din is that he's not going to marry her. So the husband is mekana her. His purpose is that she'll be also she's not going also to him, he's a kohen gadol, but now she'll be also to the one that she went into seclusion with. This now we learn, Kishem shesura lebal, kacha sura lebayil. So again, we have no proof. So Gemara Amar Rav Chanina Misura Tashma ve'ilu shebezin mekanan lahem. There are cases where the bezin, not the husband, warns her. And that case is Mishan is Chadish Baila or Nishtata or Shoya Chovish or Beis Asurim. This and it's Shtei Befedish. Leila Ashkaisa, Shtei Befedish. Not that their purpose is that she should have to drink. Ela Lepaisa Mixabosa. So Shmami knows you have a fair Shiraya that in order to pass a woman from the getting a ksuba, you have to warn her. So the Gemara. Shmamino boy asra. So you see from here that you have to have a sra. Shmamino. So the Gemara asks a simple question: why couldn't anyone else think of this proof? They all knew the Mishnah, because they're all quoting the Mishnah. So he takes the last piece of it. Can't be that they didn't know the last piece of the Mishnah and knew the first piece. In fact, the Gemara Bekula my Tamal Amri my heart. Why didn't all the previous ones say this proof? So the Gemara. Dilma Shani Hossam, the lesser Amos of the Balkal, over there, she has no respect for, she has no fear for the husband. She knows her husband's a J, he doesn't know what's going on. So in such a case, if she does it, it's not such a chutzpah from her. Because she knows that she's safe faces. But Lamashal, a Veres Aldas that has a husband, is a real chutzpahnik, because your husband's around and you do all these things despite of him. So we would think that over there you don't need a ksuba. You don't need asra. So the halacha is that still you need asra, and we see it from the case of these over here where and that's why they didn't want to bring the raya from this part of the Mishnah. So the Gemara, there was a question, Averes Aldas, Verotza Baigul Kaima. So this is it's a difficult question here in the Gemara, because the Chayra, we're asking if she's Averes Aldas, could the husband remain married to her or not? We said, does he have to divorce her or not? Should we say Mekaima or Eina Mekaima? Do we say Bikveda the Baal Toli Rachmona that we said that if a woman is a Veres Adah, he should divorce her? That depends on the husband, if the husband is bothered by it or not bothered by it. This husband doesn't care. Dilma, Kivan the kapit. That means that Rashi says, that everyone is normal people are makbid. So even if he didn't express a kapeda, she can't say my husband didn't mind. It's not ayah that my husband didn't mind, because he had other reasons maybe why he didn't express a kapeda. There's other type of people. So Timur Toshma, ve'elu shebezin mekanin, these bezin could be mekanin, mishin is charish baila, or nishtata, or shahay chavish beis asurim, ve'i amrit rotsa ba'al mekaima, that if the husband wants to have her, he can have her, of the bezin midi, the dilma loy nichel gabal. How's it? We have a klal. So why are Bezin getting mixed in over here? Maybe the husband doesn't care, so why are you mixing into his life? And for the Gemara, Stamed the Milso, Kivan the Averes Aldas, since she's an Averes Aldas, Meinach Nicholei. So if the husband's a normal person like anybody else, he'll be happy with the Bezin is doing. It'll be a Yaitzim and a Kal, other words. And we don't talk about a Yaitzim and a Kal. So the Gemara, there was a question.
Does that mean that we didn't solve the Baya?
Huh?
Baya veros aldas net menonazeh. Aber if he expresses as loy copy, this is bleibt the shaila. I guess it wasn't solved.
Yeah, okay, we didn't solve
The question
it.
wasn't solved.
So the Gemara, Baal shemocha kinuya mocha, or ain't kinuya. If the Baal was warned her, and then later he retracted, he's moichel her, what's the din? Do we say b'kinu the Baal tol rachmono, u'Baal hamocha leilu kinuya, or maybe once the Baal warns her, then the Torah takes over. Or Dilma, or maybe Kivan the Konile Mekara Le Motsi Mochalei. Once he warns her, he can't back over. So Timor Toshma, again the same thing. Viu Shebezim Mekanu La Misha Schare Bayo or in the Stata or Shoy Chavir Beis Asurim. Viam Rebal Shemocha Kinuya Mochel Avdinim Midi the Osa Baal Mochel. In other words, if the Baal could be Mochel, then why are we making fools of ourselves?
You may say
We're getting involved. The Baal's going to be Michael, so the business should say, let it go. When the Baal come out, let him deal with it. So the Gemara, Stam the Milsa, Maskim or the other Maskim or the Asbezin. A person is Maskim or the Asbezin. So there's no raya yet if you could be Michael or not. So the Gemara Toshma, we learned in the Friedrich Prakim, we learned that when he brings his wife to the Bezin gives the two Eides, two people that should accompany him to the Bezin HaGadol. U'mersin lo shnei talmidei chachamim, k'shem yovei oleha b'derech. Ve'i amr bal shemocha kinuya mocho, So leknuya v'livo. So let him be Michael. But what's the whole problem? It seems like he's not allowed to do it, right? Why is he not allowed to do it? If he's Michael and the Michael takes off the kinu, so why do you need the people over there? Sagt the Gemara, "My shno Talmidei Chacham." Why it says you give him two Talmid? Why Talmidei Chacham? The Gemara, because they're Talmidei Chacham, they learned. The boy Mivel, the Amrulay, they told him, "Ach lekenu ubale." It's not ayatak from over there. You know why you need two Talmidei Chacham? Because normally he's not allowed to have relation with her. But they will tell him the halacha. They'll tell him the heta. And once they tell him the heta, then he could have relation. I once heard a story that there were two rabbis that graduated from yeshiva, and one became a rabbi in a big shul, very wealthy shul, and one ended up in a small shtibel. But he ayayim, you don't need this. But he ayayim.